makes. Not that the engine isn't balanced. You know.
Yeah.
That strange noise that a four-cylinder makes. You know. But, I remember when Larry Morgan was running a Bureau with a four-cylinder, and he had stuff falling off like that too. And I told his crew chief how to fix it, and he fixed it. And I mean, he did real well with that car. He was holding his national record, and then he got picked to run the pro stock right out of that Bureau. But that was a highlight point, though.
So now, what would you consider to be all the milestones of your drag racing career?
A milestone was, well, I'll tell you the big milestone is I held that IHRA record for my class super stock for a few years, you know, and I kept lowering it. Everybody else that was in that class dropped out. Everybody in the whole country, they dropped out of that class. And then IHRA sent me a letter, and they said they were going to retire my record and have an index that was way slower than that, so these guys could come back and race. And you know, I thought that was actually an honor because they said my record was so fast that it was unobtainable.
Wow.
And when IHRA tells you your record is unobtainable, you know, I mean, that's like a big compliment, you know, because it was obtainable. You know, I did it, you know. But that was kind of a landmark thing. That was a big deal. Of course, that $20,000 race wasn't too shabby either, you know. The guy I raced in the final of that $20,000 was Bullet Bob Reed. But, and you know, when I congratulated him in the staging lanes on the 20 grand, where, you know, all you have to do is don't red light, Fred Koopman and Joe Cosgrove, which was Arnie's crew, they said, "What'd you do? You just forfeited the race." I said, "No, I didn't. I just won the race." And he did. That was so late, you know. That was pretty cool. That was a big highlight. I'll never forget that. I think that was about the 6th round or something. There's so many cars there, my God. You know.
Any other milestones?
Not really.
All right. So, how do you get prepared for a weekend of drag racing?
Well, me and Wally, we get the car ready first of all ahead of time. Then, you know, the night before we go, we get everything all loaded up, and I call the police department, tell them I have my trailer out on the street, and I get an okay to do that, and then we just you know, hop in the truck and go to the racetrack, and that's you know, it's no big deal, you know. We change the oil after about every 15 runs, and you know, adjust the valves every week, that kind of stuff. You know.
So how do you get your mind mentally prepared for a race?
Well, you see, I'm so used to doing it, I don't even think about it too much. You know, I'm just kind of anxious to get there and do it. And, you know, a lot of times I'm racing these nostalgia pro stocks, so a lot of times they make me run by myself. And I'd rather have somebody in the other lane, you know, make it because I'm not used to racing, real racing, right? You know, I haven't had to do real racing since in the 70s, you know. Although I did a few ET bracket races in the 80s. But, you know, I did pretty good at it too, even though. But I took the 4-cylinder engine out of there and I put 455 in it. And but I did pretty good. The car did like 1140 back then, and it was pretty consistent. And I did pretty good. But I haven't had to really race for so long. You know, when I was doing the Superstock race, the most important thing was not to win the race. It was to make every race so damn close. Nobody could tell who won until you see the scoreboard. So that's basically what we tried to do.
Yeah, good match racing.
You know, and there's, we went real racing, which I felt bad because there's guys up there betting on these races, and might be my turn to lose. You know, like professional wrestling. You feel bad about these guys that are wasting their money betting on a stupid race like that. Don't ever bet on a show race. But whatever, You're just doing what you're getting paid to do.
Yep.
It was fun doing it.
Now, where do you get all your fire safety equipment from?
Let's see, like my seatbelt and stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I just got some new ones, but I got them from Chris Duncan, because when he did the car, he had to, get it ready for the tech inspection and stuff. So he put all new seat belts and stuff in it, and I don't even know what brand they are, to tell you the truth. But it's all the required stuff.
Where do you get your fire suit from?
My fire suit, I think I got that from Jags. I think it's Pyrotech. That could be the name of it. I think it's Pyrotech, something like that. But, you just order them. And, what other safety stuff I got? But the helmet I got, Chuck gave that to me. And then Wally put an earpiece into the helmet, and so he can talk to me while I'm in the car. Like when I'm backing up, a little more left, a little more right, whatever. And then after the run, I can hear him screaming what I just turned, but I can't make out what he said because it's still noisy in the car.
Right.
But I can talk back to him too, because I got another button on my steering wheel. I can push the button, I can talk to him.
And you got Stroud parachutes.
Yeah, Stroud chutes, and they're the spring-loaded ones. So you got to crank the spring back and put the pin in there to hold the spring, and then you got to back the chute, put it on there, and then pull the pins out, and that sets the spring up against the chute. But they're not too bad. You know what? This last year was the first time I had two chutes. And I'll tell you something, when those two chutes come out, you know it. It's a lot different than just one chute. But it's a secure feeling. At least you know you're not going to go too fast. It stops the car pretty fast. I could probably make the first turnoff if I had to. But, I don't want to wear the brakes out for no reason when there's another turnoff down there,
Now, what kind of tires are you running on the car?
They're Hoosiers. Hoosiers all the way around. I got 3 sets of front tires, all different sizes. I got short ones for better reaction time, and I got some middle of the road ones if I need a little more ground clearance, and I got some taller ones if I need a lot of ground clearance, and it gives me a better ET, the taller ones. But I got the taller ones are on the car right now. But, we had it, the taller. I had to replace one of the taller ones because we needed another spacer on the left front strut, and one of the Zeus festers cutting down the tire. At the big end when it's the wind and everything pushes your nose almost to touch the ground, and it was that Zeus. We took that Zeus out. We don't use that one anymore, and put a spacer under that strut. That's one of the things I got to work on before I go racing. Is I got to set up the right eye again and stuff. But it's not a big deal, But the shorter tires, the nose at the Grove anyway, because it gets bumpy down there, especially on the return road. It's bumpy, and I'm just freaking the hell out of the nose of the car. We bump, it just crunches, And Wally's had to repair it a couple times, and we got like duct tape on it right now. So we still have some more work to do, make some extra ground clearance and stuff. But then when you make the extra ground clearance, then the wheelie bars are too low. So I got to work on that and get them to go up higher. And it's just one thing after another. But it's just all small stuff that it's just time consuming. We're gonna have to get busy doing it pretty soon. If they are going to be open for that Memorial Day. And then we may have to be a little more careful driving it over the bumps. But, just stuff I have to do.
So now your quickest pass was 184 miles per hour?
184, 743 was our best one. Yeah. That one, we did one, our slowest run was 750. And, previously, I think the best run we ever had was like 749. And now the car's even heavier than it used to be, but it works better. Like before, I had the gas tank in the back before, now the gas tank's in the nose. So the car's balance was better. And, as a left front wheel would be off the ground halfway down the track sometimes, the way it used to be. And you can't steer it. And so you have to steer it with the gas pedal. And I don't have to do that anymore. I can leave my foot down on the gas pedal. It's balanced way better than it used to be. It's a lot easier to drive. It's a lot more fun. It's more fun when it's not as scary. Like when you're heading towards the center line and you're turning the steering wheel and it ain't moving, the only way you can drive it is to feather the gas. And that's not comfortable. It's not fun. One time I got real close to the wall even because of that. I was trying to steer away from the wall. I ain't steering. I just bail. I had to bail on that one. But, I like it. I like it the way it stays in the black area in the middle. That's the only part I can. I can't see very much out of that car, but I can see the black spot. The black track where it's supposed to be. The groove, I can see that. So I just try to keep right. But it doesn't take very long to run, It doesn't take very long. Once you got turned around, get out, get that coat off, and get some air. That's done. Yeah, it's you think about the amount of money you invest and the work and everything for this very short run. I know it kind of sounds stupid even, but I don't know. It's not, it's not just the few seconds that you're driving the car and it's fun. It's the whole thing,
Yeah, that's what makes it all worthwhile, right?
Yeah, it does. your friends, all the people you know, and it's great.
All right, so a few more questions here, John, and we'll finish up this interview. Besides drag racing, what are any other hobbies?
Well, I used to play a lot of golf, and in '08, I got hurt at work where my knees got tore up, and I got one knee repaired, and the other one needs to be replaced still. But I can't play golf anymore because my left knee is so torn up that it has to be replaced sooner or later. But when I try to swing the golf club, sometimes it pops out of joint and I fall down, and that's not fun, you know. And so I haven't played golf since then. I tried it once, and I still could play, but I fell down too many times, and it's embarrassing. But back in the '80s, I used to bowl, and I was pretty good at bowling. I used to go to sweepers and stuff and make money and everything. But I dislocated my ulnar nerve in my right wrist, and that needs an operation to fix. And I didn't have medical insurance at the time, so I kind of blew that off, and I just quit bowling. And let's see what else. Oh, I like to go fishing, and it's very relaxing to me.
Now, what kind of fish you like to fish for?
Well, I go with an ultralight, and there's a reason for that. I go to all these like industrial park ponds and stuff, because fish are dying of old age in those ponds, and so that you can catch fish there. And I go with an ultralight, and I've got that spider wire line on it, so the line is good line. But I use a small bait and everything, and that way I don't get skunked. I always catch at least some bluegills or some small bass or something like that. You always catch something, and the line is strong enough where at this one lake near my house, I caught a catfish that was about 20 pounds with that ultralight.
Wow.
And that was a couple. No, that took forever.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I was running out of line. I had to keep walking up and down the bank, and because he was going to take the rest of my line off.
Yeah.
But it created a crowd. There was a crowd around by the time I got him in. I'll tell you that. Big crowd, and I let him go. But I caught a big bass over there one time, but I didn't catch it with the ultralight. I caught it with another one. I was fishing with the ultralight, catching crappies, and at the same time, every evening, someone would come by and snatch my lure right off my ultralight. So I had it this time on smart, right? I had a bait caster with a different kind of lure on it, and when I'm watching my watch, getting to that time, so I switched to the other fishing pole, and I caught that sucker. And it was about, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 pounds. I don't know, I didn't weigh it, but it was a huge one, huge bass.
Yeah. But
I put that back too, and then one of the kids that was watching, he said that the mailman, he was over there, he caught that same fish. But, there's another pond over by my house where I used to catch the same fish every year. Every year I would catch him at least once. And the guy would fight, jump up out of the water. The first time I caught him with kind of a big hook, and I didn't flatten the hook. I didn't flatten the barb, and it put a triangle-shaped hole in his cheek. So I could always recognize this guy whenever I caught him because he had that triangular-shaped hole in his cheek. But that fish, he'd fight like crazy every time. And then they put him back in the water. He just stayed there, right there. He wouldn't swim away or nothing. He wasn't afraid of me or anything. He just stayed there. It was like he was my buddy,
Yeah.
But I love fishing. You know, you go. A lot of times you're fishing. There's egrets out there and there's blue herons, and they catch like 6 to 1 what you're catching. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys know how to do it. You know. And you know, their eyeballs are polarized. That's why they can see them.
Yep.
But I like that. You know, that's kind of what I do.
Oh yeah, we're in the springtime now. We're to get them crappies, man.
Yeah, crappie season's coming up pretty soon. We're fighting like it'll be like fishing on a tuna boat. But the last couple of years I've been busy remodeling my house because you know my wife with the dementia absolutely destroyed the place. Absolutely destroyed it, and it was a bad scene, and it took me one whole year just to get it cleaned up, and then the next year I was remodeling stuff and fixing some stuff, putting some kitchen cabinets in and stuff like that. You know, and remodeling the bathrooms and you know doing flooring and all that kind of stuff. So I've been real busy with that.
Now, if you were able to do time traveling and go backwards into time, would you do anything differently with the drag racing career at all?
Oh yeah, because I got offered a big sponsorship deal from I can remember the HO Racing Specialties back in the '70s, and they were going to give me a truck, a trailer, 35G salary, and pay my way into all these races, and it wasn't that many of them, and I was married to my first wife then, and she said absolutely not. Otherwise, I should have did it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, I would have been a professional racer. It would have been my job.
Yep.
You know, so I kind of blew that deal. That's kind of a sore subject. You know, we got divorced right after that. And, you know, it's all for nothing, you know. But, let's see what else would I change? I don't think I would change anything. I don't think so. Just that one thing I could add that. I tried to get a Pontiac sponsorship once, but I missed by one vote for the Dealers Association. Missed by one vote because, and he told me the reason. He says that they remembered when they sponsored Arnie, he didn't keep up his books, and they needed that for their tax write-off for the sponsorship because they were giving him $100,000 a year, you know. And he didn't keep up with the books, and they didn't want to get involved like that again. I only lost by one vote, too. But at that time, the big deal, the big bad was these little four-cylinder, I forget what they were called, modified sport. I forget what they called it, but there were little four cylinders with turbos, and I was gonna make a Sunbird with one of those Iron Duke four cylinders with a turbo, and go racing that. And you know, if I would have got the sponsorship, I would have. But you know, I couldn't afford to do it on my own.
Right.
Had to blow that off. But that would have been interesting. Modified compact, I think they called it. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of guys who were doing that back then. That would have been worth traveling for. But
all right. So, what's your favorite food to eat?
What?
Your favorite food?
Oh, my favorite food is Mexican.
That's a lot of people I've been interviewing lately have said Mexican food is their favorite food.
Yeah, I love Mexican food. You know, I grew up in Southern California. That's, you know, Mexican food haven there. You know, we didn't go to McDonald's or anything. We go to the taco stand. You know.
Yeah. What's your favorite beverage drink?
Well, I used to drink a lot of beer when I was younger, but I quit doing that a few years back, and I started drinking margarita, but I always tend to overdo it because they taste too good. And so now when I have a drink, I'll have a 7 and 7. You know, Seagram 7 with 7 Up.
Right.
And I use the diet 7 Up. You know, because the older you get, the harder it is to lose any weight. You know.
Now, what's your favorite non-alcoholic drink?
Root beer. Root beer, I'd say, is probably my favorite. I always got a bottle of root beer in my fridge.
Now, do you have a favorite brand of root beer?
A&W.
Yeah, A&W is good.
Yeah, I get the A&W cream soda sometimes too. That's
those are good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what is your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie. Ooh. I don't know. That's a tough one. Favorite movie. Well, there's one movie. My dad was an art director out in California for movies and TV shows. And there was one summer I worked for him, lettering drawings for him. And he needed, for this movie he was doing, he needed a design for a hippie pad. And I'd been in hippies. That's the 60s,
Right.
So I designed one for him, and they built it on the soundstage. And so I'd have to say that's probably my favorite movie because I actually got to do something for it. And, so I designed a hippie pad, and it was called Wild in the Streets was the name of the movie.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But, my dad worked a lot of movies and stuff, and so did my mom. My mom was a costumer for movies. But they're both gone now. My brother worked for my dad for a while. My brother, he died a few years back. So he was my baby brother too. He got colon cancer that spread to his liver. But he never got a colonoscopy. You're supposed to get that every 10 years after you turn 50. But if he would have got one, he would have caught it. But he's dead now. But when my parents first retired, they bought a house in Maui, and my sister went out. She went out to Maui and got a job with the Maui Police Department. So she's a retired Maui cop. She lives in Texas now. But my dad wanted me to come back and work in the studio when I was having my divorce problem, back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And my first job was going to be for the transportation department on the TV show Vegas. And I was going to be driving trucks and buses, and plus I was going to be in charge of taking care of the T-Birds. Like the guy drove a T-Bird, right? Well, for the close-up, they used the show quality T-Bird. They had 2 of them. They were like show cars. They were, immaculate. But for the chase scenes and all that other stuff, they had some junk ones that just had to look good enough from a distance. But you had to put roll bars in them and stuff, so if they crashed them, the stunt driver wouldn't get killed,
Yeah.
That was going to be my job. But right when I was getting ready to go, my dad called me up. He says, don't go up yet. He says, there's a writer's strike. So they ceased production, right? Well, by the time the writer's strike was over with, the guy that was the head of the transportation department had died of a heart attack. And so they had to hire a whole other crew. And my dad didn't know the guy or anything, so I didn't get that job. But things sometimes don't work out for the best. But you make do.
Yeah. So what's your favorite music to listen to, John?
My favorite music, the oldie stuff, like the '60s stuff. That's when I used to listen, and I still do. If I turn this radio on, I'm sitting in the car right now. But if I turn the radio on, it's on 87.7. That's the kind of music I like to listen to.
Now, what are your favorite tracks to race on?
My favorite track. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's see. Well, the Grove, because I've been racing there since '69, even though it's all bumpy and stuff. But I've been to some good tracks, like in Columbus. That track's nice. And it was nice when I was there anyway. I've never raced on Route 66, and I'd like to. One of these days, I'll probably get a chance. Byron's not too bad. I don't like when you have to back up into the water. I don't like that kind of stuff. But the track is decent enough. And it's easy to slow down when you're going uphill. And I raced at Cordova when it wasn't in as good a shape as it is now, and I didn't mind that too much. I raced at some pretty crummy tracks, like Kansas City. That track they had there, that place is closed. And what's the name of that track? MAR or something like that. It's right almost down the street from where Bill Pullman lives. And I forget the name of the town. Wentzville, Missouri. That track sucked. You had to go like 1,000 feet, and then it was a drop off. And it was I didn't like that at all. But and Coles County, that was Coles County's an 8-mile track. It's still narrow, but it's only an 8 mile. But right after the finish line, there's a big dip. So you can't hit the brakes yet. You got to wait till past the dip. And then by the time it's time to hit the brakes, now you almost need to shoot because now you're almost to the sand pit already.
Yeah.
So that I didn't like. But let's see where else. Rockingham is an excellent track. The only thing I didn't like about Rockingham is after the finish line, it's downhill. Which is not a problem, when you're only doing 150 miles an hour or something. Then you got to shoot, But it's a real nice place. Real nice track. But I know that the one I want to race on is that's one. That's probably the best one in the country. There's some of the other races. I get that race. It's like my home. All the race tracks in California used to race that. Are all gone.
Have you ever ran at Bakersfield?
No, never ran at Bakersfield. I ran San Fernando and Irwindale, Orange County, mostly Lyon.
Yeah, all those nitro funny car drivers and dragster drivers out there, they keep telling me I need to go to Bakersfield for like March Meet one of these days and experience all the nitro funny cars and dragsters and feel altereds.
Yeah, no. Bob had a chance. He could have taken a bunch of us to that race at March Meet.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to do a nostalgia post-doc deal, but they weren't going to pay anything. And if it's a long wait to go, but I get paid anything.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even if you think it's expensive, you know, it makes it worthwhile. So a lot of these guys are retired. You know, you don't want to put the bill to go all the way out there. Yeah.
Yep.
One thing, go to the Grove or the Byron or somewhere close like that, but all the way to Bakersfield for free. You know, think of the gas you're going to use in your tow truck.
Oh yeah.
You know, even like right now, you know, I have to take cans of gas with me to the racetrack every time I go, make sure I got enough. So each can is like $100. You know, it used to be 80, now it's like 100. You know?
Yeah.
That's expensive. You know, so you know, you can use every nickel you can get.
Yep.
I mean, we're all gonna go broke at this rate, you know.
Right.
But anyways, you know, I get a pension, I get Social Security. I live off that. I got some money in the bank. You know, I'm not worried about it. I can afford to go racing for a while longer. And, you know, so I'm just going to have fun doing it.
So, well, John, I want to thank you very much for finally doing an interview with me.
Finally what?
Finally doing an interview with me. Thank you for finally doing an interview.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. You know, I was always kind of shying away from that because it's like I always forget names and events and, you know, I'm old now, you know. I'm not real sharp as heck as I used to be.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did fine. No, I told you I would take it easy on you.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You have any final words or you know? Thank you.
Oh yeah, I want to know the correct pronunciation of your last name.
Kawakami.
That's what I thought it was, but now I know for sure. Kawakami.
Yeah, the Japanese.
Well, now anybody that's listening knows the proper pronunciation. Also.
I always tell people when they ask me how you say your last name, like if I in person, I'll be like, you know, think of the motorcycle Kawasaki, but take the sake off and put Kami on there. Yeah. There you go, Kawakami.
Yeah. I think your name in my phone is Dave K.
Yeah.
But I usually make nicknames for people because I have a hard time remembering names, you know.
Right.
But I can remember a nickname, you know. I had a guy working for me once when I had a shop. And I called him Frankie because the first day he showed up to work, he had these big boots on. They looked like Frankenstein boots. And I don't even remember the guy's name. I called him Frankie all the time. You know? Yeah. But, you know, you can remember nicknames, you know?
Yeah. So you have any final words or thank yous that you want to give out to anybody that might be listening out there?
Well, you know, I should give a thank you to Dan Manison for sure because, you know, he lets me run with him. And Bob Merrily, you know, I got to give a thank you to him. You know, I'm on my second race car that's got his windows in it. And they're, you know, his windows are the best. You know, my other car got stolen a few years ago. Well, the windows looked like they were just put in. And he put them in 1987, I think it was. Wow. Or 88. Something like that. But, you know, yeah, I've known him for a long time, too. But, you know, who else? I had to thank Wally. He works on my car all the time. And, you know, his dad used to have a chassis shop called Racing Performance Machines. And, but his dad died a few years ago, and which was a real bummer. He was a friend of mine since the 70s. But, Wally Jr. and teach him the ropes and all that. So that's what I'm trying to do. Wally's doing a good job. And let's see, who else should I thank? Well, let's see. I don't know. Who else should I thank? I should probably thank somebody else, but you know.
Arnie the farmer?
Well, I always thank him. I thank him in person, you know. I call him on a phone once in a while, you know. He knows how I feel about him. And if he's listening, you know, hey Arnie, is he listening? Yeah, he's a good guy. He taught me a lot, and you know, it was we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun racing. You know, Arnie doesn't never drinks. He won't even drink a beer. You know, and that day that I won that 20 grand, we went to the restaurant afterwards. You know, before we went home, and he ordered a beer. That's how big a deal that was to him. And, I'll never forget that. That was a big landmark.
Well, okay, John, I want to thank you very much again for taking time to do this interview tonight.
All right. Thank you for having me.
And hopefully we can go racing soon, and I'll see you at the Grove, and we'll meet up and say hi to each other. You know?
Okay.
So,
That's good.
And I hope you have a great night.
You too.
Okay, thanks again, John.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.